everybody, good evening and welcome to your very own BYJU'S 6th, 7th and 8th grade channel. I'm your teacher Aishwarya and I welcome you to today's class where we are going to be doing a full syllabus revision for grade 8 and we will be having top 20 questions from our biology chapters where we will completely revise all the topics that we have learned today. So I hope that you are excited for yet another amazing class of the Abhyas series, and of course if you are excited, please do let me know if my audio, my video and my screen and whatever I'm writing on the screen is visible to all of you. If it is, can you give me a quick thumbs up to let me know that we are good to go? Yes? Good evening. I can see that many of you are excited. Many of you here have joined now. Good evening, all of you. Good evening. I can see Ananya, Anushka, Mukesh, Neeru, Orion Goswami, Rashmi, Yashvi, Dolly, Avinash. Many of you are here. Good evening, all of you. Good evening. Now, as you all know, today we are going to be having your very own, I will not even say my own, your own, right? Menti. Yes, so we are going to be having this particular quiz on Menti, which is why first and foremost in my preamble where I tell you that, sorry children, today we're not having a Menti quiz. I don't have that, right? So now of course in our class today, we are going to be solving top 20 questions from the entire syllabus, which means that we will have 4 leaderboards after every 5 questions. Now, of course, as you all know, every week as we do these classes, I also give you a test, right? And last week when we took the class with all of you, we also had a test which was sent out to all of you. Yes, and in that we did a sort of rapid fire where firstly we looked at all the students, not rapid fire, but rather we looked at all the students who had answered within the given time limit. And from that we uploaded all the names in a software and we had a lucky draw where we picked the fastest finger first. And of course Vriddhi, Divyanka, Abhiman, Ritanya, Kavik, Pratik, Sai, Makeen, Ishika, Dhruv all made it to the top 10 of fastest fingers. And every week we will be doing these Google form tests and we will be announcing the achievers on our community post. So even in today's class, there is a Google form link which is available. So you can go ahead and you can let me know, right? The link is available in the description of this video. But we will be taking the entries. Now don't be like, Ari ma'am, now only I'll go and give the test. No. Give the test once you have finished the class. So I will be taking entries from after 9:20 p.m. only. Entries before 9:20 p.m. will not be entertained. But after 9:20 p.m., those of you up until 10:20, it will be open. You can still give the test, but in order to make it to the top, right? In order to make it to the top, you will have to have a look, right? You will have to answer in the time frame of this 1 hour. And it's going to be a lucky draw. It is not that we are purposely taking these names. No, it's a lucky draw for which we are dependent on a software. That is why I will let you know that this is the reason. Please don't feel bad. You never know. It could be I would say it could be your turn next week. Yes? Divyanka says, thank you. Amazing, Divyanka. Avinashi. Vidhi is like, ma'am, my name is there. Awesome. Very good. So, Jaldi says, students, it is Menti. So, go to www.menti.com, right? And the code is 1790229. So, go ahead and quickly join. Ananya, how could you say that? How could you say I'm ignoring you when I've literally called your name? Okay, so jaldi say everybody hit the like button as well. Just give me one moment. Okay. Are we ready? It's getting a little cold here, so please don't mind. No problem. In case if you're not able to join Menti, you can go ahead and you can give me the answer in the live chat, right? Okay. So now, of course, I'm going to quickly move on to the next screen so that I can see how many of you have given me the answer and how many of you have joined. So jaldi say, like leader. See, once I made somebody the like leader and all of you got so upset and you left the class. So I will only be the like leader from now. Okay. I am the like leader, Atika, for today. I am the like leader. Everybody hit the like button on the video. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well. Yes? So today we have questions ranging from easy questions to tough questions to also very simple ones, right? Dolly has got full marks in bio. Super proud, right? Super duper proud. Okay. Ma'am, then why you said bye? I didn't say bye. Just give me 1 minute. 24 out of 25. Many of your exams have come up and I can see that many of you are letting me know your scores as well. So let me know in the comments of this video as well, right? Okay. Find aeroplane. This is the game I'm the worst at. I'm so bad at finding things. Okay. I found aeroplane. Very good, very good. Okay, ma'am, find cake. See, I'm just waiting so that all of you here give me the answer, right? See, ascent of sap, Divya, is basically a phenomenon in which, your water, minerals, right? All of that along with this, basically how water and minerals, they ascend, right? They ascend from the lower parts to the upper parts. Okay. Find goat. Hey, goat is here. Goat is very big, right? This is goat. How to open Menti? See, I'm waiting for other students who will say, ma'am, you are very fast. Go to www.menti.com. Then you type this code 1790229. Simple, right? Okay. Students, jaldi say, go ahead and join the Menti because now we are going to get started. Yes? Find footprints. Why is it so tough? I can't see a footprint here. Find a rat. I can see cat, not a rat. I found the cat here. I can see a frog here. There's ghost. I'm finding whatever I'm looking at. I can see umbrella. Okay, ma'am, how to register, Bridhi? I've already told you, now. Just get yourself registered. Go to Menti. You will be able to find it. Find ghost. A ghost is easy. Okay, done. Now time up. Now time for us to have a look at the question, right? So question number 1, everyone, on your screens now. A wild buffalo is said to be endangered, or we call it as an endangered species because of what? Because its population is diminishing, it is coming down, it has become extinct, it's exclusively found in a particular area, or poaching is strictly inhibited or prohibited. Okay, all of you, your like target for today is 100 likes on a bare minimum. See, 100 likes is now very bare minimum for all of you. No, so jaldi say, make sure that all of you like the video. Easy. This is very simple, very easy question. Nothing too complicated. Yes, Jaspreet. Like target is 100. Hello Shiva, I'm doing good. How are you? Hope you are doing well. Okay, so as we can see here in this particular case, we're talking about a wild buffalo, which is an endangered species, right? Now, what is an endangered species? An endangered species means it is in danger of its population reducing, right? So, in such cases, the number of wild buffaloes has decreased considerably, or its population is reducing. Yes, it is not extinct. An animal is extinct when it no longer exists. There's not even one animal living anymore. So it is no longer extinct. It is extinct means it is no longer there. It is found exclusively in one area. That means that if it is found exclusively in one area, it means that it is endemic, right? Endemic means it is found in a specific area. And lastly, what are we saying? Its poaching is strictly prohibited. It means that, of course, poaching will be prohibited, but that doesn't make something endangered, which is why the correct answer is option A. Yes? Okay. So shall we move on to our next question, which is question number 2. Question number 2, everybody, on our screens now. What helps the rise of bread and dosa dough? Very simple. Is it heat? Is it grinding? Is it growth of yeast cells? Or is it low pressure? Can you tell me? Yes? Okay, very good. Just give me one moment, all of you. Okay, very good, all of you. Very, very good. We're talking about what results in the rise, right, or rising of bread or dosa dough. Now, in this case, what do we see? When we say rising, it means that there is increase in volume, right? What causes increase in volume? It is because of a microorganism, which is yeast, right? So in this particular case, what do we see? When yeast cells grow in number, right? When they grow in number, we see that it results in increasing. It produces more amount of carbon dioxide as a result of fermentation process, thereby resulting in increase in the volume, right? Okay. Awesome, all of you. Atika, thank you so much for asking. I'm doing much better right now, but still my voice is little shaky, so I need to take rest, right? Okay, ma'am, can you tell me for the endangered? See, most likely species tend to get endangered for one in two reasons. One is, of course, illegal poaching that has happened, right? Or else also due to habitat loss, we see that certain animals lose their habitat and they get endangered. Yes? What is other name for windpipe? Trachea. Okay. Let's move on, everybody, to question number 3 on our screens now. Yes? So question number 3, everybody, let's have a look. Which of the following is a communicable disease, right? Which among the following is a communicable disease? Is it diabetes, chickenpox, Alzheimer's, or is it cancer? Array, what happened about backlogs? I know, 11th May this happens. Yes, I did watch Saurabh sir's shot. Saurabh sir is very talented. Who's giving me hepatitis B as the answer? Is not even there in the option. Is it diabetes, chickenpox, Alzheimer's, or cancer? What is communicable? We know that a communicable disease, communicable means communicate, right? How do you communicate? You communicate to another person. You communicate to me. We are two individuals. So when it gets transferred from an infected individual to somebody who has chickenpox, to someone who does not have it, right? We call such disease as a communicable disease. Now, in this case, how does chickenpox get spread? It can be spread through direct contact or in some cases even through the air. Now, diabetes, Alzheimer's, cancers all come under the category of non-communicable. That means that it cannot spread from an infected individual to a healthy individual. So, this right here is important. Ma'am, is cholera also communicable? Yes, dimple cholera is communicable. What is Alzheimer's? Alzheimer's is a neurodegenerative condition. That means it is something that affects our brain, right, and our nerve cells, resulting in memory loss. It affects motor functions, so all of that, right? So that is what we call as, that is what is an Alzheimer's disease. Okay, Purvi, no problem. In the next one, I will give it to you, okay? So question number 4, everyone. So after question number 5, I will give you the leaderboard. Yes? Okay. Who is this bye-bye, all this Arav and many others? Arey, pay attention in class. All of your exams are going to come very soon. So please pay attention. Okay. Let's move on, everybody, to question number 4 on our screens now, right? A feature of reproduction that is common in amoeba, yeast and spirogyra is what? They reproduce asexually, they are unicellular, they reproduce only sexually, or they are multicellular. Yes? Hello Abhishi, hello, welcome to the class. We're playing a Menti quiz, so it's a live quiz, so you just need to go to a live platform and, go to the Menti platform and play the live quiz. Yes, I've changed my hairstyle. Yes, Sachi, you're very quick to notice that. Very good, students. Very, very good. See, you have amoeba, you have yeast, right? Now, these two are unicellular. Yes? While Spirogyra, on the other hand, we see that Spirogyra is multicellular, right? So, these are multicellular. So, in this case, any option which says they are all are uni or all are multi are wrong. Now, what are we left with? Their mode of reproduction. Now, we know that in all these cases, only one parent is involved, right? So, when only one parent is involved, we call this as asexual reproduction, right? So this is what we call as asexual reproduction. So what is common? That they all reproduce asexually. So in amoeba, we see that it is through binary fission, where the parent will split into two. In the case of yeast, it is through budding, right, where an outgrowth is there. And then of course in Spirogyra, it is through fragmentation, where the parent body will split and it will become into fragments, right? So the correct answer is option A. Very good. Now let's have a look at after question number 5, you will have the leaderboard. What is this name predator? You first tell me your real name. What are these fancy, very traumatizing names like predator and all that? You tell me your real name and give your proper names. You're in 8th grade. What is all these fancy things? Not even fancy, little scary to be honest. Okay. Very good. Yes, Jaspreet, I remember you. Don't worry. Yes, you can ask your question. Balwant, I'm still recovering. My voice is still shaky, so please don't mind. Yes, Ananya, let's move on to question number 5. Okay, let's have a look. It's an assertion reason question. Farmers have to add manure to the field in order to replenish the soil with nutrients. Okay, reason is that continuous cultivation of crops makes the soil rich in nutrients. Okay. No problem, fanboy gamer, we'll get to it, right? Very good, students, very good. I didn't say much because I feel like if I say much, I will give the answer away, right? Now, assertion reason. See, whenever you have assertion reason, look at it as statement 1 and statement 2 questions with a twist, which means that you need to solve it in 2 steps. Step number 1 is to identify if each of them are individually true or false, right? What is statement 1? Assertion says that farmers need to add manure. Why do they add manure? What is manure? Manure is basically something we get organically, right? It has a lot of nutrients. So when I add manure to my soil, it replenishes. That means it brings back the nutrients in the soil. Now what are they saying? What is reason statement telling? If I do continuous cultivation, that means if I have one piece of land and I keep growing crops, that means that the more and more I grow my crops, the more and more nutrients will come back to my soil. Is that the case? Is that the case? The more crops I grow or the more crops I grow, the more nutrients will come. No, that is not the case. Because the more crops I grow, the more amount of nutrients get utilized. Which is why what do we see? We see that this reason is wrong. Reason statement is false, right? Which is why in this case, the correct answer is option C. Those of you who said, ma'am, more and more crops I grow, more and more nutrient will come to the soil. No, it will lose its fertility. Yes, very good, Shrija. Very good, Prabhakar. Very good. Ma'am, 50 likes completed. Amazing. 50 more to go, right? Yes, Janvi. Hello. Now, before I go on to the next question, I'll quickly show you the leaderboard. Ma'am, now I understood. Good, good. So now I can see that Soumya is on top, followed by Kavya, who's the fastest, Chandan from class 8, Mubin, 8th grade, hello Aishwarya ma'am, hello back to you, Apsara, hi ma'am, hello Apsara. Then I can see Aditya, Varshini, Orion, Vandita and Vihan. So well done students, well done, very proud of all of you. Now more than anything, right? Ma'am, this is not fair. Kya hua, Dolly? What happened? See, like I said with Menti, there are many things like timing, internet issues, and if you don't have good internet issues, sometimes your answer could be registered slower on the platform. Which is why one more thing that I'd like all of you to tell me is, how many did you get correctly out of 5? Can you tell me that? Forget your rank on Menti. How much did you get correct on as a, let's say, just look at it as marks? How much did you get correctly? 5 out of 5, all were correct. Yeah, all were correct. Many of you have got 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5. Now I'll tell you all one thing. In your exam, all of you are given say 2 hours. If it's a 30-mark paper, you will be given 45 minutes to write the exam. So let's assume you're given 45 minutes to write an exam. Now my writing speed and your writing speed will be different, right? Maybe somebody has finished the paper in 30 minutes, somebody has finished it in 35 minutes, somebody has finished it only in 45 minutes. But if end May, everybody gets 25 out of 25, who really cares, right? Who really cares whether you took 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes? Your marks are all the same. Nobody is going to grade you based on your timing, right? Which is why I will request that all of you don't get disheartened, right? Don't ever get disheartened if your name is not coming on Menti. But always tell yourself that if I've scored well, that is what matters more to me, right? Don't we feel that Menti that is there is just there as a competition, a fun way of gamification. But most important thing that you all need to know is that learning, understanding concepts, that is what matters. Yes? Okay. Now, of course, in the meanwhile, a quick reminder, everybody, I have Google Form tests coming up your way. I will remind you. Don't forget to take up the test once the Menti is over. There you are saying, that's what I just explained. Could be that there's some network issue. Anshu, please, guys, all of you, exams are coming in closer. There is no time for us to trouble others, right? Okay. No problem if Menti is not working, you give the answer. My thing is that your marks matters more to me, right? Hello, Rahul. Hello. So let's quickly move on to our next question for today. Cloning is a mode of what, right? Cloning is a mode of what? Sexual reproduction, asexual reproduction, both 1 and 2 or none of the above. I will now look at all the students who are spamming. If you think I cannot time you out, I can. So everybody who is distracting the class, either get your focus back or you can leave the class if today you do not feel like studying. But there are many students with me who want to study and I want all of you to pay attention. Unnecessary conversations, you are welcome to leave the class. Yes? Okay. Now what is cloning? Cloning means making a Xerox copy. Think of it as making a Xerox copy of something, right? So imagine, right? Imagine there is me, right? This is me, which is Aishwarya ma'am. And now imagine if you could make a Xerox copy of me altogether. Now, of course, in thought, it seems very, interesting to do. But this is very difficult, right? Now, of course, yet, like in the case of Dolly the sheep and everything, this has been achieved. But this naturally happens in the case of asexual reproduction. Because what is happening in asexual reproduction? In asexual reproduction, we see that there is a parent organism, right? So let's assume there is a parent amoeba. When it reproduces and it makes offsprings, they are identical, right? They are identical, or I can say they are a Xerox copy, or I can say that they are a clone, right? Which is why in this case, what do we see? The correct answer is option B, asexual reproduction. Are we clear? Okay. Ma'am, what is puberty? Puberty is the point of life where the body attains sexual maturity. Okay. Ma'am, I have some confusion. You can ask me your questions. No need to spam telling I have doubt, I have doubt. Get to your doubts. Okay. Question number 7, students, on your screens now. Let me just move this to this side. Fertilization occurs in humans, human females, when the sperm and the ovum reach simultaneously at dash. Basically, they're asking you where reproduction takes place, right? Ma'am, cloning is a type of asexual reproduction. In one sense, you can take it that way, but we don't say it like that. So, where does the process of fertilization take place? Cervix is the birth canal, right? So, cervix is the birth canal which undergoes considerable dilation during the birth of the baby, right? Very good. So, in the female reproductive system, what do we see? We see that the fertilization process happens at the fallopian tube, right? Which is also called as the oviduct, right? And we see that this is where fertilization process. What is fertilization process? It is the fusion of sperms and ovum. Okay. No problem for the spam, but please don't spam. Is fallopian tube and cervix the same or different? It is not the same, it is different. The fallopian tube is a pair of structures that we see, right? So we see that they are tube-like structures which connect the ovary and it connects the remaining part of the uterus, right? What is the cervix? The cervix is the birth canal which is present here. Yes? Class 7 will happen next week. This week I wasn't well, so I could not take class 7th, but it will happen next week. Myometrium is basically the walls of the uterus, right? Fetus is basically the developmental stage. So you have zygote, which is a single cell structure. Then it forms into an embryo, which does not have properly differentiated parts. But when at a development stage where you're able to see the arms and legs, that is what we call as fetus. Okay, let's quickly move on everyone to question number 8, right? Question number 8 on your screens now. Array, no problem, don't worry. Which of the following changes may occur due to desertification? So if desertification happens, what is going to happen, right? The decrease in atmospheric temperature, increase in water holding capacity, decrease in chances of floods, or in conversion of fertile land into a desert. Very good, students, very, very good. What is desertification? Desertification is basically a phenomenon wherein over a period of time, right? When we have done deforestation. So when we do deforestation, that means we cut down large scale of trees. What will happen? Land becomes very clear. And when over a period of time, when this land becomes clear and we see that it remains as is and undergoes a lot of changes, because of which the once fertile land will now turn into a desert. And we call this process as desertification. Now, it will not decrease atmospheric temperature, but rather we know that deforestation can lead to global warming, which will result in the overall increase in temperature. It will increase water holding capacity? No. Decrease chances of flood. Don't you know that one of the possibilities of deforestation is the fact that it can bring about climate change, which also means that there are increased chances of flood, right? But in this case, we're talking about what will happen for desertification. That is not reducing chance of flood, but rather it is when there is formation of fertile land into a desert, right? So correct answer here is option D. Are we clear? Are we all clear, students? Awesome. Let's go on to our next question. Okay. Arey bachas, some of you are randomly fighting in the class. Why? Purvi, it's okay. You give me the answer in the live chat. If Menti is not working, you give me the answer in the live chat. And everyone, fatafat, before I show you the next question, you have, I will count till 10. All of you need to run and go to YouTube, hit the like button on this video. So I'm going to count till 10. So you have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. You have 3 more seconds. I need all of you to go and like this video. Yes? 3, 2. Are we almost there? Are we there? Can I see the likes increasing considerably? 2.75, 2.5, 2.25, 1 and 0. Awesome. Very good, very good. Looks like you need little bit of a push, no, to hit that like button. ठीक है. Jaldi se we'll go on to question number 9 on your screens. Yes? Let's have a look. Examples of kharif crops are wheat and maize, gram and maize, paddy maize, all of these. Easy. Very simple. Hello Devika. Hello. Hope you are doing well. Where is the link? So you need to open a browser, type www.menti.com, put in the code 1790229. This is easy. Okay, we are talking about kharif crops, right? So what are kharif crops? Kharif crops are those crops which are sown during June, July or monsoon season, I would say. So they are sown during monsoon. And when are they harvested? They are harvested around October, September, October time. These are called as kharif crops. Now what are rabi? Rabi crops are winter crops. All of you have forgotten crop production and management. You have all forgotten crop production. Ma'am, first chapter, we don't know anything anymore. Is wheat a kharif crop? Is wheat a kharif crop? No, it is not a kharif crop. It is a rabi crop. Now, is gram a kharif crop? No, it is not. Now, if that is not the case, is all of this the answer? Absolutely not. Then what is the answer? Paddy and maize. What is paddy? It is rice. Remember RMC. Rice, maize, cotton for kharif crops. Don't ever forget. See, this whoever is Srinivas Murthy and favorite respect, you both will now get timed out by me. You are only unnecessarily instigating conversation and disturbing the class. Next thing you know, I am blocking both of you. Ma'am, what is actually kharif and rabi? Why only these words? So actually, if you look at the Arabic meaning of this, it means monsoon and winter. That's why we say kharif and rabi, right? Okay. Yes. All of you pay attention, otherwise now I'll start getting serious. You don't want that, no? See, I'm somebody who's I'm very patient with all of you, but unnecessarily when I'm teaching and when everybody else is teaching, don't disturb the class, right? We give you time to have your masti, to have your conversation. We entertain all of this. But when you are studying, see, if you're coming at 9 o'clock and you're sitting with me and you're studying, you need to use this time wisely, no? You will waste all this time. Last one day before exam, you will break your head and then say, ma'am, marks nahi aa rahe hai. Right? You should not do that. That's why please all of you, those of you who are having parallel conversation, and if you feel that ma'am I don't feel like studying today, it is okay. But when you're coming to class, pay attention, right? Learn, because every time we go over through the basics again and again. Yes? After question number 10, I'll show you the leaderboard, right? Okay. Let's have a look at question number 10. Now I didn't want to be so serious, but it's okay. I mean, I had to pass on this message to you. So here we have match the following. You have 1 minute of time. Take your time and give me the answer. Very good, Alpha. Good marks. Okay. Very good, students. Very, very good, right? So now, of course, let me see if I have, yeah. Now we had to do match the following, and as Brem said, see, if you guys have done the first one only, you will get the answer. Now, what is the match for Spirogyra? We know that Spirogyra reproduces through fragmentation. If you look at it with that alone, you will get the answer because everything else is matched wrong for Spirogyra. But nonetheless, right? Nonetheless, what do we see? We see that Spirogyra here is matched with option D, which is fragmentation. Next up, we have Hydra. How does Hydra reproduce? Hydra reproduces with the help of budding. Then what do we have? We have Plasmodium. How does Plasmodium reproduce? Plasmodium reproduces through multiple fission. Then what do we have? We have Rhizopus. Rhizopus is nothing but bread mold, right? Bread mold here is nothing but spore formation. So correct answer here is option number A. So very good, students. Very, very good. Now Anshu says, ma'am, please don't speak in English because people in India. So Anshu, it's not that I don't know Hindi, right? Now, half the time I feel like in my class you guys want to have this debate. Arey ma'am, you speak in Hindi, speak in Hindi or speak in English. There's this constant debate going on. Now I know the language. It's not that I don't know, but if you want me to teach effectively, it is in English. Now I do understand why you might be comfortable in Hindi, but if I speak in Hindi, you will maybe forget Hindi also. That's not how I would say broken my language is. It's not that I don't know the language, but I'm not very proficient or good or excellent at it, right? And when I teach, you should understand what I'm teaching. That is the main intent, no? End May, when you're writing exam also up until 10th grade, we'll have to write it in a language where it is in English. So hence, please don't mind, right? And please don't have that debate and fight also. Half the time I feel like sometimes you think I don't know, but I do know the language. Yes? Okay, so Anshu, I hope you are comfortable with that, right? ठीक है. Bream, fine, I will call it like that. Now I see that in the second leaderboard, Kavya has made it to the top, followed by Orion, Mubin, Gungun, Swarit, Ananya, Ayush, Vihan, Vandita and Sachi. So well done, students. Well done for scoring good marks, right? And you've made it to the top 10. But nonetheless, right, all of you here, I'm sure would have got good marks. Yes? Difference between binary fission and multiple fission. What is binary fission? Binary fission that is there is basically when from one parent you get two offsprings or two daughter cells. While in multiple you will get many daughter cells. So that is the difference between binary fission and multiple fission. Yes? Purvi, you tell me your marks. Enough. You forget about the rank. You tell me marks. Yes? Okay. So I hope Anshu is still there with me here in the live chat. So Anshu, please, I hope you don't feel bad for me taking your comment. Just that because this debate constantly keeps happening and probably this is the first time you're coming to my class now, I just wanted to make that clear, not to make you feel bad in any way. Yes? I think with my voice, it may sound a little bit like that. So please don't mind. Okay. Now, one more question that I would like to take is the difference between puberty and adolescence. See, puberty that is there is basically wherein it is the point of life. It could be at the age of 10, it could be at the age of 12, where the body starts to attains that reproductive maturity. But adolescence that is there is the entire phase. So if this is puberty, this whole period of time is what we call as adolescence. It is the time period. So that is what we mean by it. Fanboy, so basically it is the part of the female reproductive tract that receives the sperms, right? Okay, I hope I have answered your question. Now shall we go on to the next set of questions? Yes? Shall we move on to our next set of questions? Ma'am, I'm here, I want to know about spore formation. Spore formation is mainly seen in organisms like fungi, where we see that they produce small powdery substances called as spores, right? Now these spores, you can think of it as seeds, but they're not exactly like seeds, yes? So what happens, these spores that are there are covered with a tough covering, and when they fall, on, let's say, a moist surface where there's a lot of humidity, lot of water available, they will grow into a new fungi or a new organism. So spore formation is basically seen in such organisms like fungi, which produces spores that kind of function like seeds but are not seeds, right? Okay. Let's move on to question number 11, everybody, on our screens. Okay. Again, it is assertion reason. Assertion A says that in summer, the frequency of watering is less. Reason being that it is due to the increased rate of evaporation of water from the soil and the leaves, right? So what is the correct answer here? Budding is basically, see, if you have yeast and from the parent body, there is a outgrowth. Something is growing outside, right? So that is what we call as a bud, and this process is what we call as budding. And this will eventually mature and grow into a new one. Students, what happened? Tell me. Can you tell me what has happened? Kya? No. Please look at the question once again. If I have a plant in summer, frequency of watering. Does this mean that irrigation in summer is less? Plants don't need water. Summer mein aaram se it is enjoying. No, na. We know that during summer, evaporation of water takes place, right? Which is what we call as transpiration. Transpiration, or how fast transpiration happens, is very fast. So in such cases, what will happen? We see that we need to water it more during the summer seasons, which means that assertions is wrong. While on the other hand, reason is correct. I know, moi ho gaya, exactly. Because we are in a hurry. We are in a hurry to give answer. We want to make it to the top 10, that we don't care what the question is. That should not be the case. No, all of you, these are silly mistakes you make. You all know the answer. You all know the concept. Exam mein when you are solving also, we are in such a hurry to answer that sometimes we forget to read, right? So pay attention. Yes, pay attention in class. Vijayanta, I'm not ignoring you, bacha, but please pay attention. Okay. Shall we look at the next one? I'll explain. Divya, I've explained budding. I just explained budding to you. Jaldi mein galti. Nice. I like how it's rhyming. Jaldi mein galti. Question number 12, everybody, on our screens now, right? Zoos are places. That's also rhyming. Zoos are places where wild animals are protected and preserved, where animals are protected in artificial setting instead of their natural habitat. The reserve, which are large and diverse enough to protect whole set of ecosystems, or is it none of the above? Ma'am, Menti not work. Looks like we've had a new... Okay, can you all refresh your screen once again? This has happened for the second time. Let me just join once again. Can you all close your Menti and open it once again? Can we all do that? Yes? Shall we open it? Can we try now? Can we try now? Question number 12 on our screens. Yes? Are you able to answer now? Are you able to answer now? I think you are able to answer, right? Ma'am, explain budding. Divya, I'll explain it. Please don't spam, right? I'll explain it to you in detail. Vegetative propagation also I will take it. Biodiversity is the variety of living organisms that we find on earth, right? Which includes your plants, it includes your animals. That is biodiversity. So now I think everybody is able to vote and you already knew the answer, but the correct answer is option B. See, let me tell you, whenever you have the term zoo, the word artificial is your key word, right? It is an artificial environment where you bring in the wild animals. So it is not technically a place which is preserved and protected in the natural habitat, but it is an entire, we see that this right here is a artificial enclosure that we build. That is why in this case the correct answer is option B. Yes? Now let's go on to question number 12, right? Question number 13 on our screens now. Medicines that can either kill or stop the growth of harmful disease-causing bacteria are called as dash. Is it antibiotic, antibody, antigen, or vaccine? Question of a lifetime. Very good, very good. I can see the answers coming in. Vasi, for reproductive system, I've done a separate class. I'll ping the link on the comments of this video. You can watch it there. Yes? Of course. See, what is an antibiotic? An antibiotic is basically a chemical substance or a medicine that is obtained from microorganisms that can either kill or it can inhibit the growth of other disease-causing organisms. What is antibody? Always remember, antibody is produced within my body and they are Y-shaped proteins like this that attack any kind of invader that enters our body. What is an antigen? An antigen is what we find in a disease-causing microbe which we call as a pathogen. And it is kind of like a ID card, right? It is a ID card which is present on the surface of the surface of the bacteria or the pathogen that tells us that, hey, this does not belong to my body, this belongs to someone else, right? Okay. Before I go on to the next question, I have Divya and Sarthak spamming excessively about budding and vegetative propagation. Now, what is vegetative propagation? Vegetative propagation is basically a method of growing plants, right? By using the vegetative parts, which includes the root, the stem, and the leaf. So if you take bryophyllum, if you take, normal potato, we see that the parts that we use are the vegetative parts, right? Wherein only one part or one parent is involved, which is why we call this as vegetative propagation. Now, next up is budding, which Divya has asked me for, which I've already explained, but I'm explaining it once again. In an organism like yeast, right, what happens? In an organism like yeast, we see that when it has to reproduce, there is only one parent which is involved. And how does this yeast reproduce? We see that it will produce a outgrowth, right? It will make one outgrowth, a projection outside its body. So we call this as a bud. So this outgrowth is what we will call as a bud. Now, once it is there, we see that once as it keeps growing and maturing, this bud will separate from the parent. It can separate from the parent or it can remain attached to the parent and form a chain of buds, right? So that is what we mean as budding, okay? Are we clear now, Divya? Are we clear, Sarthak? Bye. I've explained budding also. Are we clear? Yes, you can do the Google form now. Okay. Ovulation is release of egg from the ovary. Okay. Now, I've actually explained it. I think you missed my explanation. That is why. Sometimes I always tell you, keep focused because I keep taking questions as much as possible. Fragmentation. When a parent will split into fragments and then each fragment will grow into a new organism, we call it as fragmentation. Okay, question number 14, everybody, on our screens now. The number of sex chromosomes in human beings are dash. Is it 1, is it 2, is it 3 or 4? Yes, Pranya. Embryogenesis, that is, there is basically the developmental processes that are involved, right? Very good, all of you. Very, very good. Now, how many chromosomes are there in our body? In humans, we see that there are 46 chromosomes, right? Now, in this 46 chromosomes, whether it is a male or a female, the first 44 are the same. But what differentiates an individual as a male or a female? It is the last two, right? Which is why in this particular case, what do we see? In the case of males, we see that the first 44 are the same, but it could be XY. While in females, it could be 44, but it will be XX. So how many are there in total? We see that the last two are there. So correct answer here is 2. Now if they had asked you the number of pair of chromosomes. So if they ask you in terms of pairs, then correct answer is 1. But if they ask you only as number, then it is 2. Are we clear? Not 23. 23 pairs. 23 pairs is how much? 23 into 2, that is 46. Are we clear? What reproduction takes place in Hydra? Savita, the type of reproduction that takes place in Hydra is budding. Bye-bye, I have explained budding. What is gamete? So, Vasi Karsan, gamete is a reproductive cell which is involved in reproduction, right? Now, gamete is of two types. There is a male gamete and a female gamete. Female gamete is called as ovum or plural is ova. Sperm is the male gamete, right? Ananya, don't get distracted, please. Please don't get distracted. Quickly moving on to question number 5, question number 15, students, on your screens now. Yes? Very good, Anshu. Very, very good. Okay. Bye-bye, हो गया. Budding का explanation हो गया. Chromosome, Ajaya, is basically these rod-like structures that has the genetic material or that has the DNA. So whatever information that, whatever we do right now, let it be talking or let it even be the fact that I need to have a certain kind of eye color, certain kind of hair color naturally. In all that information should be there somewhere. That is present in these chromosomes, right? Okay. Now, of course, let's have a look at question number 15. So again, we have matched the following, right? So we have matched the following. You need to match it and give me the answer. Okay. Okay. I can see the technique that you guys are using. Very smart. Very, very smart. Okay. Let me have a look at the chat. I see people are still voting. Okay, very good, students, very good. So in this case, what do we see? Like Bream said, if you look at the first one only, you should be able to get the answer, right? Now, fusion of male and female gametes, what does it result in? Fusion of male and female gametes results in the formation of a zygote, right? So we see that it results in the formation of zygote. External fertilization is something we observe in frogs. Female gametes, we see that is nothing but the egg. Oviparous animal or an example of the same. What is oviparous? Oviparous animals or oviparous organisms are those which are found laying eggs. What is viviparous? Viviparous are those which give birth to their young ones. So in this case, what do we see? We see that oviparous, or an example of oviparous is option C. Single parent is seen in fragmentation. What is fragmentation? If we have a parent organism, it will split into individual fragments, and each fragment will become into a new organism. So this right here is the answer. Why people have different color of eye, color of hair? It is because all of the genetic material, so that information of what color, eye color should be there, hair color, all of that is present in the genetic information or in our DNA. And this DNA is passed on from our parents, right? So that is where we have the information present. Okay. Very good, Ranganathan. I'm happy that you found it helpful. What is external fertilization? External fertilization is when fusion of male and female gamete happens outside the body. So it will happen in a water body, like let's say pond or something, and it's not happening within the female body, right? Okay. Very good, students. Very, very good. Crystal clear. Amazing. Now let's have a look at the second last leaderboard for today, right? Second last leaderboard for today, and I can see Orion is on top, followed by Ananya, Kavya, Sachi, Meher, Mubin, Gungun, Vandita, Rutuja, and Mustaq Ali. So well done, students. Well done. Very, very proud. Ratna, I am not ignoring you. Sometimes when the chat runs very fast, it's very difficult. So I may have missed your question. Ma'am, will I make it to the top? Of course you will, right? Should never give up hope. Okay. Ma'am, 150 like complete. Then how about we hit 200 likes on this video? I'm sure we can do it. What is metamorphosis? See, metamorphosis that is there is basically a process, right? So metamorphosis is a process by which we see that there are certain animals that undergo drastic changes, right? So we see that bodily they undergo drastic changes. So initially, like in the case of frogs, they are like tadpoles, which is found underwater, and they have gills and everything. They have a, tail which will help them swim. But the adult frog looks much different from the younger one, which is why in this case, what do we see? We see that metamorphosis is a process wherein we are able to see this drastic difference. Anshu Bacha, if you're in class 10, you come to my class 10 classes. We have another channel, BYJU'S 9-10 channel. You can come there as well. We take more exclusive classes for 10th grade, right? Okay. Purvi, that is actually the inheritance pattern. So the details of it, if I teach you now, may be a little difficult. But in 10th, you have a chapter which says heredity that will teach you these, inheritance patterns. And no, it is not because of a problem in the child. See, in some cases, it could be because of a problem, or there could be some mutation or some change in the DNA. But most often, it is because of an inheritance pattern, right? Okay. Awesome, all of you. Very good. Very good, Jaspreet. Very good. Ma'am, what is oviparous? See, oviparous. Oviparous are those, are those which will lay eggs, right? So those which lay eggs are oviparous. What are viviparous animals? Viviparous animals are those which give birth, right? So those that give birth to the young ones is what we call as viviparous animal, viviparous. So I hope now you are clear. I've drawn a very rough image so all of you know, but yeah. Yes? Okay. Now let's go on to the last 5 questions for today. Last 5 questions. Ma'am, you said at least 10 minutes. Yeah, it's only 10 minutes. Aram se you'll be able to give. Cool. Let's have a look, everybody, at the next question. Wildlife sanctuaries are dash. Some areas where wild animals are protected and preserved. We see that places where animals are protected in an artificial setting. Reserves which are large and diverse enough to protect whole sets of ecosystem. Okay. Ma'am, can you explain reproduction? Mishra Bacha, you in this class, so it's very difficult. You watch my session on reproduction, introduction to reproduction and its types. It's there on the channel. You will find that helpful to understand the whole concept, right? Shashank, are you asking me? Are you asking me or are you asking someone else in the chat? Okay, Ratna, I'll take your question in some time. See, what are wildlife sanctuaries? Wildlife sanctuaries are those protected areas or preserved areas or enclosures where we preserve the animals, right? We preserve wild animals in their natural habitat. Yes, it's not when you say preserve whole ecosystem, which includes both your plants and animals as well, right? That becomes your national park, which is why the correct answer is option A. Yes? Okay. Yeah, thank you for that, Shrija. I'll take your doubts towards the end of the class so that those of you who want to leave can leave. Those of you who have doubts can stay back. Okay? Now let's go on to question number 17 on our screens now, right? Question number 17, everybody. Let's have a look. Production of thyroxine requires what? Yashwant, I just explained. A wildlife sanctuary is one where you preserve wild animals specifically. The intent of the wildlife sanctuary is to preserve the wild animals. Very good, students. Very, very good. We know that thyroxine in our body is something which is produced by the thyroid gland, which is a butterfly shaped gland which is found in the neck region, right? And in order to produce this thyroxine, we see that thyroid gland will produce thyroxine. Now, in order to produce this thyroxine, it requires iodine. And if there is not enough iodine in the body, what will happen? We see that it will result in the swelling of the neck region. So that's why we see that iodine is essential. No problem, Ratna. Whatever doubts are there, let me know in the comments of this video. I will definitely reply back to you. Yes? And all the best for your Science Olympiad exam. Do well tomorrow. Okay. I will take your doubts, but towards the end of the class, so please don't mind. Please don't spam. I'm going to take your doubts only towards the end. Yes? Dimple, end of the class. Ananya, end of the class. Question number 18, everybody, on our screens. Yes? Again, we have assertion reason. We see that the replenishment of soil with nutrients is done by some microorganisms. Fungi and bacteria are common examples of decomposers. What is the answer to this? Okay. Yes, very good, squad. Very good. Yes, Purvi. Exactly. Very good, all of you. Very, very good, right? Yes, I will give you the explanation. Don't worry. Now, what is assertion statement? It says that the soil can be replenished. What does that mean? I can bring back the soil with nutrients, and this process of bringing the nutrients back into the soil is done by some microorganisms. Now, how do these microorganisms do it? They do it by a process of decomposition. What is decomposition? Let's assume when you have organic matter, like some dead organisms, dead or fallen leaves and all of that. These microbes, what will they do? They will, act on it. It's food for them. So they will break it down into simpler forms, right? And we call this process as decomposition and such organisms as decomposers, right? Which is why in this case the correct answer is option A. Now let's go on to the second last question for today, right? Question number 19, everyone, on our screens now. Pancreas is responsible for maintaining what, right? Is it responsible for maintaining the blood pressure? It is responsible for doing fat metabolism or, fat digestion, you could say. It is responsible for maintaining the blood glucose level or the electrolyte balance. What is the role of the pancreas? Just breathe. 5 more minutes and it'll be done. Maximum 5 more minutes. Okay. Very good. Oops. What do we see? We know what is pancreas. It's like a leaf-like organ. Now, mainly we know that if you look at the pancreas, it's involved in digestion. But along with that, it also produces something called as insulin. Now, what is this insulin? Insulin is responsible for maintaining how much glucose or how much sugar is there in our blood, right? So, we see that this is the hormone that is responsible for the same. Now, let's go to our last question for today. Yes, question number 20, last question for today. So, let's have a look. Okay. Now, so in this case, we have a match the following from which you need to give me the correct answer. So take your time and give me the answer to this. Okay, time is up and well done students, well done. So now of course if you see, we know that deforestation is nothing but cutting of trees. Global warming is because of increasing level of carbon dioxide. We know that zoo right here protects animals. Satpura is an example of a national park. So in this case what do we see? The correct answer is option B. Very good. So now of course everyone a quick reminder, right? Quick reminder that all of you, there is a Google form because I know many of you will drop off. So there is a Google form link which is available in the comments of this video. In the description, if you see, the first thing that you will see is the form link. Go right now and give the form test because as you all know, we'll be doing a lucky draw and featuring our achievers whose fastest fingers have made it to the top 10, right? So very quickly, all of you, let's have a look at the final leaderboard for today, right? Let's have a look at the final leaderboard and let's see what it has to say. Now here of course I can see that Orion is on top with 18,853 points, followed by Ananya, Mubin, then I can see Mustaq, Vandita, Sachi, Ayush, Gungun, Meher and Vriddhi have made it to the top 10. So well done students, well done. Now quick thing, once you finish the Google form test, don't forget to let me know how much you scored out of 5 in the comments of this video. Now I'll take a minute of time to take the doubts. In the meanwhile, others go and give the test, right? Now, quick doubts that I'd like to take is, ma'am, why only at the age of 14 to 20 we see the change? Why not at 11 or why not between 20 to 30? Because of the fact that we have, see, the reason being is that once we are born, right, our body is controlled with various chemicals. Now in such, or rather all the chemical changes that keep taking place. Now as a result, we see that our body's life or development has been divided into various phases. Now our kind of life, our, the kind of diet that we consume also has a very important role to play. Now in the initial days, our body will first physically develop, right? It has to physically develop. Now, once it is fully physically developed, we see that naturally, as an organism, our instinct is to reproduce. So, in our case, physical development is completed by the age, in normal scenario I am saying, physical development is more or less completed around, let's say, at the age between 7 to 10. Again, depends from individual to individual. But sometimes can go on till 12, 13 years also. Now, what impacts this is our diet, our lifestyle, and various other factors. But in a normal individual, by 10-12 years, our physical development is completed. And in nature, what is our body's response? What is, as a living organism, the next thing we need to think of is how to survive, right? Which is why if you look at an amoeba or if you look at anything else, their main job is eat, sleep, reproduce, right? Not sleep, but rather they eat, take shelter, and reproduce and make more of themselves. So at a fundamental living organism level, that is what we aim for, which is why we have set periods for when these developmental processes take place. Yes? Translocation. Now, Divya, translocation is basically when we see that there is transport. It is nothing but another term utilized for the transport of food across the body. I mean, the plant body, right? So, in the case of plants, food is produced in the leaf. So, we see that food is transported then to the upper parts as well as the lower parts. And we see that this process of transport of food is what we through the phloem is what we call as transportation. Yes? Translocation, sorry. Now, on the other hand, many of you are asking me, what are genes? Now, I told you that if you look at I told you that chromosomes that are there are rod-shaped structures, right? I told you that chromosomes are rod-shaped structures which has all the information, right? So, which has all the information that makes us who we are. Now, these chromosomes are actually nothing but made up of DNA, right? They are made up of DNA. Now, it's not like the whole DNA has all the information. There are fragments of DNA, parts of DNA which hold information for one thing. So, if this part of the DNA holds information, let's say for hair color, right? There will be another part of a DNA that will hold information for something else. So, genes are fragments of DNA that code for a particular character. So, now I hope you guys are clear. Yes? 5 examples of external fertilization. Study squad, 5 examples could include any names like carp, rohu, right? You can give frog, toad. These are all some examples. Basically, in amphibians and fishes, you can give any example. Divya, what is wilting? Wilting is drooping. When there's not enough water, the leaves no longer are able to hold their shape and then they fall off, right? Or they droop. So that is what we call as wilting. So with this, everyone, quick reminder to fill up the Google form in the description. And of course, with this, we come to the end of today's class. Now, I hope that all of you enjoyed this class. If you did, don't forget to let me know in the comments of this video. Now, one last question that I would like to take is the difference between testosterone and estrogen. Testosterone is the sex hormone which is produced in males, right? So, we see that these are produced in males and they are mainly responsible for all the physical changes that are brought about in males. Not physical changes, sorry. They are responsible for bringing about all the secondary sexual characters. So, for example, facial hair, right, deep voice and development of testes, all of that is controlled by testosterone. Now, mainly in females, estrogen is the female sex hormone that brings about changes of or development of secondary sexual characters. So, like development or enlargement of breasts, widening of hips, all of that is something which is controlled by estrogen. So, now I hope I have answered your questions. What is oviparous? Radhika, I've explained this. Animals like birds, right? You've seen chicken, you've seen hens, you've seen ducks. They all lay eggs, right? And how do those eggs look like? They are all covered with a hard shell. Those animals that lay eggs are called as oviparous. Viviparous are like us human beings. We give birth to our young ones. So that is what we mean by viviparous. Yes? So because a detailed explanation of DNA, chromosomes, genes, I've taken a separate class. I'll tag the link of that video in the comments. You can watch that video for detailed explanation. So thank you so much everybody for staying with me till the very end. Don't forget to let me know in the comments as well your marks, right? So very important that you let me know your marks in the comments of this video. I will see you all very soon. But up until then, students, take care. Lots of love to all of you and bye-bye and good night.